you can't look at China as the answer. That's the first thing they're going to do is say you're not allowed to play ice hockey anymore. That's not good. Canada's not going to like that.
Carney just made a complete fool of himself. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, in the wake of Donald Trump threatening more tariffs, Carney on a red carpet making a complete dingus of himself. We've got more job losses. We've got some other stuff here. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got David Coletto posting this. This basically sums up what's going to happen with the NDP leadership race. I don't cover this stuff much, but here's the results. We have some polling here saying based on official photo only, who should the NDP select as their next leader? Heather McPherson, Avi Lewis, and Rob Ashton. And Heather McPherson absolutely dominating 49%, 27 and 24. Simply put, Heather McPherson, she has a seat. She's a far lefty. Being a woman, she's going to pull in more NDP as well. She's going to win this. Moving ahead, we got Table Salt posting this. A housing application has been leaked online showing that some permanent residents to Canada are getting $15,000 up front and almost $7,500 per month from the federal government. Now, this is deplorable. You can see that here. One-time initial check, $15,800. Clients get a monthly income of $7,340. Why? This is not why Canadians break their backs working. Close the border. That's more than disabled Canadians get all year. That's shameful, and I'm beyond embarrassed to even call myself Canadian. Disabled Canadians who are wheelchair bound get like 13 to 14K per year. That's supposed to cover rent in the ghetto and their survival amongst people preying on them. That comment's on point. The Liberal government doesn't care about Canadians. All they care about is staying in power and using our system to make themselves rich. Meanwhile, what do we have coming from Donald Trump? Based on the fact that Canada has wrongfully, illegally, and steadfastly refused to certify the Gulfstream 500, 600, 700, and 800 jets, one of the greatest, most technologically advanced airplanes ever made, we are hereby decertifying the Bombardier Global Expresses and all aircraft made in Canada until such time as Gulfstream, a great American company, is fully certified, as it should have been many years ago. Therefore, Canada is effectively prohibiting the sale of Gulfstream products in Canada through the very same certification process. If for any reason the situation is not immediately corrected, I'm going to charge Canada 50% tariff on any and all aircraft sold into the United States of America. Thank you for attention on this matter. Donald Trump just dropping the hammer here on this, and as Kirk breaks this down, threatening this 50% tariff because Canada hasn't certified some Gulfstreams yet, not because they don't want to, but because Canada is very slow at doing it. Transport Canada and FAA requires line-by-line validation of flight control software, cold weather operations, and high-altitude flight conditions operation testing. So we're just too slow at this that Trump's getting pissed off. This is just such a mess. Bombardier has responded here. We've taken note of the post from President of the United States to social media, and we are in contact with the Canadian government. Bombardier is an international company, 3,000 employees, etc. It says we're actively investing in expanding our U.S. operations, and then says we hope this is quickly resolved to avoid a significant impact to air traffic and the flying public. This is just another failure by the Liberal government. Carney has pissed off Trump big time, and Canadian businesses are paying for Carney's foolishness. Yep, whatever's going on there between Carney and Trump, Canadians are paying for it. Canadian businesses, Canadian taxpayers, Canadians, period, are paying for Mark Carney's antics. With all of that said, what is Mark Carney doing? Look at this. Mark Carney just met heated rivalry star Hudson Williams. I don't even know what that show is, but apparently it's some sort of big deal. Giving him a big hug and taking a bunch of photos. This is something Justin Trudeau would do.
Both of you right here, please. Give each other a hug. You gotta do the hug. Looking at the camera.
That was a flying basketball.
It's the phenomenal all over again.
So they just keep adding people and adding people. Carney's wife gets in there.
This is what Carney's spending his time doing when Donald Trump is threatening more tariffs on Canadian airplanes because certifications aren't going fast enough. But don't worry, it gets worse. So he's given this jacket. I think this is from the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And then they do this. This is real. I have a photo from the front, as you saw from the thumbnail. There it is. This is so Justin Trudeau. Where is Trudeau? Is he hiding around in the back? This is what our prime minister is doing in such a massive crisis. This is what he prioritizes his time on. And afterwards, he went to this event and gave a speech.
So congratulations again to the team behind Heated Rivalry. Congratulations to my new best friend, Hudson. I don't know if you saw the energy on that carpet, Malcolm. I felt it. He's a good actor. He's a good actor. Congratulations, Hudson, Sophie, all the producers here this evening. On behalf of Canada's new government, look, I'm a politician. I'm not above taking credit for the Canadian funding that helped you share this story with the world. I might not have been here when the decision was made, but I'm here now. So, yeah, I greenlit this thing. I stood up to the Americans. I made this thing made.
So this kind of stuff, this kind of jovial, fun kind of attitude, people like this kind of stuff. Unfortunately, this will help bring in voters for him. He's treating this whole thing as a joke. And maybe if we were in good times, this kind of attitude would be fine. But I mean, we have more tweets from Donald Trump, 50% tariffs, and this is what he's doing.
But in all seriousness,
okay, so he just goes on to babble about this organization and these actors or whatever. Carney keeps winning. Oh, yeah. His team's not talking with Trump's team. We've also got this in the news. GM Oshawa to lay off up to 1,200 workers on Friday. Union leader says he hopes premiers encourage feds to relentlessly pursue CUSMA renewal.
Well, tomorrow will be the last day on the job for hundreds of workers at GM Oshawa as the plant cuts its third shift.
Unifor confirming this morning to CP24 that 700 jobs at that plant and another 300 spin-off jobs are impacted by the decision. Quick math, that is 1,000 jobs. The union says the layoffs are the result of GM shifting operations to the U.S. amid U.S. President Trump's trade war. GM originally announced this move last May on the heels of Trump's announcement of tariffs on Canadian vehicles. The GM plant in Oshawa will now be running with 2 shifts.
More job losses. This is Carney's record here. There's people defending Carney here. Carney can get a deal. We have more than enough leverage to get a deal with Trump. He just doesn't want one. And going back to this here about relentlessly pursuing the CUSMA renewal, look what they're putting on CBC now. They're trying to condition Canadians to the idea of no longer having CUSMA.
I also think that the Canadian business community needs to stop saying that we must have USMCA. I think that plays into the strategy of the deal maker, Donald Trump. I think we did perfectly well in Canada before we had the Canada-US Free Trade Agreement. Came into effect in 1989. We were a very successful country at that point. Yes, free trade has worked well for us, but if we can't have it, we can't have it. We'll carry on. There's nothing the United States buys from Canada that they don't want or need. So I don't think that there's any doubt that Canadians will continue to trade. Canadian companies will trade with the U.S., with or without USMCA. We'd like to have it. We don't need it.
This is what you'd expect from John Manley, former Liberal finance minister. The last thing we need to do is rip up CUSMA now. Our country's already getting slammed.
On without it. And I think the message to Donald Trump is, look, you're not going to get a more reliable trading partner or ally than Canada. If you don't think you need us, you don't want us, well, we can build trading arrangements with other countries in the world, and that's what our prime minister is setting out to do. So
no, we can't. We can't do it in the speed that we would need to just replace America. A bunch of Canadians lose their jobs, they lose their houses, they have to move into their cars, they go homeless. This has real implications when you have boneheads like this who have a well-stuffed bank account. It's not a problem to this guy, so you can go on CBC and push out this nonsense rhetoric, which is a dangerous message to spread across our country. The CBC is just filled with propaganda filth. We got conservative Rick Perkins here saying, prepare to sacrifice 1.5 million jobs. You are without CUSMA and across the board tariffs that result. What utter bullcrap. Yeah, well said. Funny how the CBC turns to former Liberal insiders for analysis. Public funding should come from viewpoint diversity, not recycled party talking points. Exactly. Liberals in 2025, only Carney can negotiate with Trump and save CUSMA. Liberals 2026, screw CUSMA, we don't need it. Jumping over to CTV, we got a panel of the premiers and Mark Carney here being asked about Alberta separation. Mark Carney didn't want to answer this question.
Minister, what do you make of the Trump administration's meetings with Alberta separatists and the comments of Secretary Dissent? Is this foreign interference from the U.S.?
The governments that are going to make a difference to Canada, to Alberta, to Canada, are at this table, I guess, alongside with municipalities and working with our Indigenous partners. And the focus of the meeting last night, today,
So I'll spare everyone. He just goes on to word salad for like 2 minutes straight here. What was important that he said there, or he didn't say, at the beginning, his body language, when he went to answer this question, you can see this guy's a terrible poker face. And I've been pointing it out for, a year now. When he's got some coy little trick up his sleeve, when he knows he's screwing over Canadians, he's got something called Duper's Delight. He doesn't have it here.
Is this foreign interference from the U.S.?
There's no cheeky smile. He's not looking for the mouse under the podium. Alberta separation isn't in any of his plans. That's what I take from his body language here. I don't think he wants it either, because all that money leaving Canada going to America doesn't benefit his net zero agenda. He wants to have more money that he can milk from this country. So moving ahead, this reporter asks the same question and calls him out for not answering it.
With respect, Prime Minister, if you could answer the question on how you view the actions of the U.S. administration here. But for my second question, for Premier Smith, Premier Ford called on you this morning to denounce the separatist movement. I understand you said you don't want to demonize anyone, but they are seeking the help of the United States government. So what's your response to that? And Prime Minister, if you could please answer the question.
So you can see his response there. The question was going back to him, and then he just diverted it to Daniel Smith, and you could see Carney's face.
For Premier Smith, Premier Ford called on you this morning.
See, he kind of laughs. This guy's so arrogant, like, what, you're not going to have me answer the question? I'm number one around here. It's funny getting a read on this guy's emotions.
I would expect that the U.S. administration would respect Canadian sovereignty and that they would confine their discussion about Alberta's democratic process to Albertans and to Canadians. And I will raise that with my delegate in Washington, so he can raise it with members of the administration. And I will raise it with my delegate in Ottawa, so he can raise it with the U.S. ambassador.
I fully associate myself with Premier Smith's comments just then. I expect the U.S. administration to respect Canadian sovereignty. I'm always clear in my conversation with President Trump to that effect, and then move on to what we can do together. Thank you.
Next question.
Yeah, respect Canadian sovereignty. This guy doesn't care. You can hear it in his voice. He's just like, whatever, get the words out. Doesn't matter. These peons need to go away. With all this talk of Alberta separatists, I showed you a clip from the previous video of Doug Ford running his mouth. Meanwhile, Doug Ford's the one who ran the ad against Donald Trump and his administration using millions of dollars of Ontario taxpayer money. It's just funny what they call foreign interference when Doug Ford is doing foreign interference himself. We even have the provincial separatists here from Quebec saying the same thing.
Some people could have in mind that he threw in the U.S. Advertisement without commercials, without consulting Quebec, and it had an impact on us. Some people could think of the Lovin in 1995, but that would be talking about history, and I don't want to get too radical here. But I'm sure that if he says that he does that because he loves us, it must be true.
Meanwhile, what does Donald Trump have to say? That China's going to ban ice hockey in Canada after they take over. I'm not kidding. Listen to this.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, what do you think about the UK getting into business with China? Keir Starmer is in Beijing.
Well, it's very dangerous for them to do that, and it's even more dangerous, I think, for Canada to get into business with China. Canada is not doing well. They're doing very poorly, and you can't look at China as the answer. I know China very well. I know President Xi's a friend of mine. I know him very well, but that's a big hurdle to go over when you get Canada. The first thing they're going to do is say you're not allowed to play ice hockey anymore. That's not good. Canada's not going to allow it.
What a comment. This whole thing doesn't make sense. Him saying don't get into business with China. China can't be trusted. He's friends with Xi Jinping. None of this makes sense. China's going to ban ice hockey. Who knows? Maybe they will. Meanwhile, look at this polling data. The Middle Kingdom no longer seen as a threat by Canadians. From an overall point of view, how do you think the Canadian government should approach China? This red line here views it as the enemy, and that's dropping to 23%. So you can see this March 23, January 2025, a year ago, and then now. And this has dropped from 62 to 23% as China being the enemy. This is very dangerous that people think we should be more cozy with China. Yellow one here is being more cautious, and then the blue one is more trustworthy. Valued partner and ally. This has gone up from 9% to 22%. The Liberals are brainwashing Canadians into thinking China is a trustworthy ally. Got this one too. Look at this on some Charlie Angus Facebook page. Canadians against ICE brutality. Inhumane criminal entity. Charlie Angus. Is that guy planning to run again? Or is he just enjoying his Facebook groups and being part of the Midas group or whatever that YouTube network in America he's a part of? It's funny, you got like a extreme leftist guy like that joining an American group that's propping up his channel. You can see here, so Charlie Angus here, and it's powered by Midas Touch Network. That's this guy here. This guy's got a ton of followers, leftist guy in America. You got American channel, American guy pumping up Charlie Angus. How is this not hypocritical? The leftists in Canada, anti-America everything, unless it's in their own favor. Charlie Angus would never get these kind of views, 30,000, 25, 21, 78. He would never get this by himself. He's getting pushed by this guy. So here's the main channel, 5.89 million subscribers. And the video is getting 350,000, 1.4 million. It's like a huge American network pushing Charlie Angus. He signed up as the Canadian version of their network down there, pushing this kind of stuff in our country. Something else from America, you got to see this. So this is on MSNBC. They photoshopped this guy. This is the guy that was pew-pewed on the ground, and there's been more footage that's come out where he was kicking ICE vehicles, shattering taillights. He had a pew-pew on him during that time as well, as a week and a half ago. MSNBC photoshopped this guy, or used AI to make him more handsome, more likable looking, just more attractive, putting him on the news here. And then a guy here on X took it and shows you exactly what the before and after looks like. This is unbelievable. So you can see they made his teeth perfect and symmetrical. They shortened his jaw. They shortened his nose. They made his glasses and his eyes not tilted to the side there. They've rosied up his skin a little bit, as well as his scrubs. Not only that, you can look at his biceps. So they really beefed up his biceps here, made his shoulders more broad. Like, this is ridiculous. They get a little bit thicker neck. This is what they're putting on the news in America. Like, it's just as bad in America as it is in Canada. Like, with CTV last year, completely chopped up that one clip, trying to make Pierre Poilievre say something that he didn't.